Hey everyone, this is Laura. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I spent thousands on my KDP's education and I met some great mentors along the way. But I also heard some really horrible KDP advice, and some of these even happened to me personally. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the expert advice, so hopefully that can be helpful along your KDP journey. And also, just before we dive into today's video, I just want to say thank you to those of you who reached out to me for a one-on-one consultation. It has been my pleasure getting to know you personally and hear about your KDP journey, and I'm so happy to know that I can be helpful along the way. So if any one of you want to book a free consultation with me, just click on the link below. I'm more than happy to get to know you. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive into today's video. The first really bad KDP advice I was given was to simply take a shotgun approach and just do it. So I think this might have happened to a number of you that you wanted to get the process started and without even looking at, what you're getting yourself into. And back in the days, I had a coach from this online platform and he simply told me to make a number of books on the different niches. Say, for example, we had about 5 books ready under the coloring book niche, and we also had another 5 books under the puzzle book niche, and then 2 under the children's book niche. So by certain date, we wanted to pump all these books ready on Amazon, and hopefully by seasonality or by trend, the customers are going to find my book, and then if they like it, it's going to hit the jackpot, and the rest is history. So that was basically his approach, and having heard from all this prep talk and motivational speeches, I really bought into the concept. Obviously, I was focusing on the interior and how to make a better product. So just to ensure the quality. But honestly, as a business owner, I should be spending my time to take a step back, but really understanding what is a niche research process. And funny enough, back in the days, I don't even understand what exactly is a BSR, which stands for bestseller rank, and how much of a demand is my book. And at some point we started to make this experimental keyword. What that meant was to take a keyword that's already working on Amazon and put another word in front of it, so just hopefully people will find it interesting and buy my book. But in reality, and even till this date, I was looking at this kind of experimental keyword concept. There's only like 20 or 30 books on Amazon that's taking the same approach. Okay, and then the one that's kind of selling right now has a BSR of about like 80,000. So that just simply means that there's no demand for such a experimental keyword. That's because I didn't do the niche research, but instead I actually just jumped right in, ordered the manuscript, ordered the interior, and not only I wasted my capital, but also the time that could have just spent on your niche research. So I understand people nowadays want to go all in on certain things, like the just do it mentality. But the reality here is that you should really be looking at what you're getting yourself into, understanding the niche by looking at the profitability of the book. What other format of the book can you sell? Is it going to be ebook, hardcover, audiobook, and what else can you do in addition to your book? That means that can you sell it in on TikTok shop, or can you have a website in linked to your book, so your book becomes the channel to your additional services. I didn't consider any of that, but I just did it. So just by just doing it, it sounds great. The taking actions, that's all good, but actually that cost me a lot of money to begin with. So if anybody is telling you to just do it, please run away from that person. The second approach is to use a keyword domination strategy after you found your profitable keyword, which I guess is slightly better than the first approach because in this case, you know that you already found your profitable keyword, okay? But what most people end up doing is to publish multiple books under the same keyword without much of a difference on, either in the title or subtitle, or even just think about, serving a completely different audience or maybe solving a completely different problem. And what they want to do is to really, when customers search for a particular product, let's say a search term is accounting for beginners, and all they see on page one will be the book from that author, which I think the thinking process is great. But the challenge here is that if you're not making a lot of differences in the title and subtitle, then you're going to end up confusing your customers. They don't know which one to pick. And in reality, they're probably going to end up choosing your competitor's book than yours. That's one thing. The second thing is when you're running for ads, your Amazon ads, all of your book will be running for accounting for beginner. let's put it example, and then they will end up become the competitor to each other rather than working together. So that's really unfortunate in my opinion. So what you could do in this case, if you really want to do the keyword domination strategy, is to take the keyword and rank your book really well for that keyword. Hopefully that will become the bestseller, and then you publish a second book, almost like the second series in that keyword, but serving a different audience, or maybe try to solve a different problem. So your two books will become the dominant player for that kind of keyword, but not really like, hey, you're publishing multiple books under the same keyword, okay? Or alternatively, you can simply take that keyword, okay, and try to search for adjacent keyword. So in our example would be, hey, I'm ranking for accounting for beginner, but what about if you publish another book, which is going to be estate planning for beginner? How about that? And then these two books will become dominant players for different keywords, but in reality, they're actually serving together for each other. So it almost become like a very healthy ecosystem for your pen name. So I think that's a better strategy compared to the keyword domination strategy, in my opinion. The third approach is by simply copying the bestseller without actually understanding my audience. So I did that to one of my gift related books, and I looked at the bestseller and I was thinking, hey, let me make a similar book. So I actually did make the similar title, subtitle, the entire marketing package, including the book cover. And I was hoping that if I could just lower the price, okay, get more reviews, then that's easy to get the bestseller. But in reality, that's not the case, because number one, I didn't understand the audience group. So if you're, let's say, if you're buying a gift for your grandparents and you want it to be very sentimentally attached or emotionally attached, so I couldn't really get that. So that's basically throughout the book production, that's the content of the book, and also the title and subtitle and also description of the book. So the entire book was basically thrown off, because guess what? I was simply being a cheaper version of the copycat of that bestseller, rather than having my unique twist of this certain niche and being ready to resonate with the audience. So it's very easy for your customers to figure out, hey, this is only going to be a very crappy copy of a bestseller. Why would I want to risk $1 or $2 and make my grandparents upset? So that is the mentality of behind the whole audience psychology that I didn't understand. So what I'm saying here is that understanding your audience is almost as important as understanding your niche. So make sure to do the research of your audience. Try to understand what they're looking for so you can deliver a better value book throughout your process. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. Like I said, most of these are actually based on my personal experience. So hopefully by me making the mistake, you don't have to repeat the process. And I just wanted to say it one more time that KDP is not a get rich quick scheme. And even though, yes, a lot of you want to get things started, get the process rolling, I understand that urge, but please do your niche research and understand your audience. And that seems to be a lot of beginners' failure or weakness, and you just want to jump right in and just do it. But that's a good mentality when you actually find the right niche. But without finding the right niche, please don't just do it, okay? Anyways, if you enjoyed today's content, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to leave me a comment, or if you want to book a one-on-one consultation, click on the link below, okay? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. You're the best. Until next time.